Time is 17:06 on Wednesday, the 13th of May, 2026. So, I have been reading this. I've only just come across this because I've been incredibly busy at this moment in time trying to do practical things. And I don't really have time to follow politics because I've got too much of my own, I've got too much going on. But this has caught my attention. Anything to do with law and the justice and injustice, anything to do with injustice and persecution, I really have to give my attention to if it crops up on the radar. I can't believe this. I cannot believe this. This is similar to what happened to me, being homeopathic, having a very good reputation in the community and having extremely good references, totally undermined by the lack of legal process, false legal process, I have to say, directions. They wouldn't even let me have representation. I was totally ring-fenced, and they said contempt of court on 2 occasions, backed me into a corner, legal strategy. They wouldn't let me be represented, used COVID, and used false transcripts. So that is disgusting. So they may have been using false transcripts for this person to have given a speech and being held in contempt. That was exactly the same as what they did to me, because they were creating false transcripts for their system just before they attempted to murder me directly afterwards by a false arrest. There was no grounds, no truth, nothing. And I was forced to speak up for myself because they refused me representation. There was non-due process. There was nothing but malpractice. And I've read this, and it's absolutely disgusting. This man has been involved in the inquests for the victims of the Hillsborough disaster and other atrocities, and they treat him like this. This is the UK. This is conservatism against the justice, and it's absolutely disgusting. Absolutely, this has brought me to tears. Absolutely. When is our Prime Minister going to step in and stop this? When is our Prime Minister going to do his job and step in to put an end to this suffering? This man must have suffered. What they would, if they had found him guilty and sentenced him unlawfully, they would have tortured him inside as a conservative persecution, because that's the whole point of it. That's what they tried to do to me. They threatened me with imprisonment in Tier 5, 2021, for not filling out forms they didn't even send to an address I wasn't even living at, because they had sold an occupation order to somebody diagnosed with psychopathic projection and apathy to conduct his terrorism towards me that prevented me from living under that occupation order, under his rule, totalitarianism. So I couldn't live in it because I was bleeding out, amongst other things. It was disgusting. The drugs he had in there that I kept reporting, and they treated me like that because I did not fill in forms that they didn't even send. And they wouldn't even be able to prove. They would not be able to prove sending them. So this is disgusting.